Sean Levy says that fans don't have to watch any past MCU projects to understand Deadpool and Wolverine. He said, I was a good student in school, I'll do my homework as an adult, but I'm definitely not looking to do homework when I go to the movies. I very much made this film with certainly a healthy respect and gratitude towards the rabid fan base that has peak fluency in the mythology and lore of these characters and this world. But I didn't want to presume that. This movie is built for entertainment with no obligation to come prepared with prior research. Contrary to what Levy says, to have context about Deadpool and Wolverine, there is no way that you can go in cold turkey. To truly understand several of its elements, plot developments, characters, and more importantly, have fun. At the least, one needs to have a brief context about Wolverine's origin story and the things that transpired in Logan. Logan I just recommend because I think it's the best Wolverine film in my opinion, but I sidetrack. Of course, watch both the Deadpools to understand the context of the character's humor and self-aware pitch. If not anything else, and more importantly, you have to have context regarding Loki and its 2 seasons to understand the influential impact of the TVA. So while Levy's statements may make regular moviegoers who haven't kept up with chronology of the MCU, even post acquisition of 20th Century Fox, a sigh of relief, I have to confess to all of you that in order to really grasp all that is happening in this film, you definitely need the context of these movies prior to its release. It's not as easy as just landing up for the film and having absolute knowledge of all that is going on. You need the context. Deadpool was not kidding when he said,
These timelines are so confusing.
while keeping it absolutely vague because many of the trailers really do a good job in providing us just hints rather than the full context of what is happening in this movie, we see the worlds of Deadpool and Wolverine experience an incursion of sorts. Essentially what could only be possible with Marvel's acquisition of 20th Century Fox, which allows access to X-Men characters, where two worlds collide and can lead possibly to the obliteration of one or both the worlds. As we know that the TVA was enforcing the proper flow of the sacred timeline in the series of Loki, where a splinter would be caused by Loki with Avengers Endgame, and as a splinter is to be pruned, remnant elements of this pruned timeline end up at the void at the end of time, many frames of which allude to the fact that Deadpool and Wolverine find themselves in. We explore the real purpose of Deadpool needing the help of Wolverine, as the multiverse has allowed some of our crowd favorite characters to share screen space together, how they reach the void, who antagonizes them, and what becomes the overarching theme of this duo's journey is the basic premise of this film. Here's me telling you the good and bad aspects of Deadpool and Wolverine so that you guys can ultimately decide whether to watch it in theaters or not. By the way, the film's advance booking is better than most Indian films that released in 2024. Self-aware pitch and film industry commentary. When you're stepping in for a Deadpool film, you know you're going to have several instances where the character is going to break the fourth wall, crack some meta jokes, and almost make you a part of the events that are transpiring. In many ways, Deadpool is a spectator like most of us, amused by the series of events taking place in front of him. What's the best part of this film is that he doubles down this time, almost joining in on the frustration most Marvel fans feel regarding the quality of films coming out since the last few years. Deadpool, and in some ways Ryan Reynolds, empathizes with the fatigue that audiences feel with the integration of the multiverse, a huge dependence on cameos, the reliance on exposition for audiences to keep up, and the case of Fox almost hindering the growth of its characters before the Disney acquisition. Many times when Deadpool is talking to us, he feels like a friend who also felt heartbroken having spent his hard-earned money for a theatre ticket and, well, being disappointed. While most of the punchlines hit the nail on the head, in some cases it's rather ironic because the same elements of the MCU that Deadpool, aka Ryan, is making fun of are also integral parts of this film. So while we laugh with him, it's hilarious to see the elements we are exhausted with also play a key role in this movie. Desperate attempt to entertain. You will definitely feel like Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool is worried about boring audiences. It's almost as if he is aware of the fatigue that has set in with the mediocrity that we have been subject to. So Ryan and Deadpool, which is essentially synonymous with each other, want every moment to entertain you, to make you laugh and chuckle. He never in the slightest wants to make you feel like something mundane is happening. And this is where I think in several instances you will see that the film almost becomes a stand-up special of Deadpool versus channelizing its energy to subplots that could have brought more depth to the film. Wolverine best describes Deadpool as an ADHD-ridden, attention-starved, jabbering little prick. So much so that moments that could have intensity and emotional depth are interjected by his one-liners. So references to Gossip Girl, Paul Rudd's Elixir of Life, Dogpool and his integration just being for gags, Deadpool's variants cracking PJs, and trash-talking antagonists talking about flicking their bean on Enya. It all seems unnecessary, especially in moments where you expect the film to take a dramatic or serious turn. At least for a bit. I, in certain points, wanted to talk to Ryan and say, we're having fun seeing you two together. You don't have to throw a punchline in every single dead space you find. Duels and action set pieces we dreamt of. The film has some solid action set pieces, enhanced further by classic bangers. I mean, if you were telling me that I'm going to get an absolutely ruthless introduction action set piece on Backstreet Boys, I would purchase a ticket simply for the same. No wonder the film is meant strictly for adults, as the gore really pushes the envelope, and this is what we signed up for. Some unapologetic action. I loved seeing Deadpool and Wolverine get their hands dirty, and as you can make out, these two characters are diametrically opposite to each other in personality, but share the powers of regeneration. So it causes for great duels against one another and the perfect team to go head to head against those who are stopping their end goal. There is this beautiful sequence in the second half of the film where it's a long shot of both the characters causing carnage. And it made me just wish for more bloodshed. A paper-thin plot and a flimsy antagonist motive. I haven't seen people being this excited for a Marvel film in quite some time, and this has to do with the casting coup that is possible with the two leads. However, one thinks about the plot of the film and the stakes at hand. You really contemplate that this duo deserved a better battle in the penultimate stage of this film. Emma Corrin as Cassandra Nova is a very interesting character, and in the limited time that she does get to be the ruthless badass she does well from an acting standpoint. But when you look at her motive, it is so incidental, so random, and on the whim, it never makes you take the film seriously. It almost seems like an afterthought by the creators because they had so much to do, from an emotional arc of Wolverine and an emotional arc of Deadpool and a bunch of cameos that take so much of the running time. It almost seemed as if the makers forgot about the main antagonist and just handed her a motive. The two biggest merits of the film have to be the yin and yang dynamic between Deadpool and Wolverine and some of the crazy cameos they were able to pull off. The two characters are at constant loggerheads with each other, and this acts as the perfect stage for several arguments and action set pieces, especially one in a car that is a perfect advertisement for Hyundai that makes you both chuckle and keep you on the edge of your seat because of the gore you're seeing. Some of the cameos really made me cheer, and while I'm not a fan of a huge dependence on the same, almost created just for the hooting and cheering in theaters, they actually had a purpose and were a part of some of the most intricate action set pieces, making Deadpool and Wolverine a fun ride to be a part of, but not a knockout from MCU, trust me. It's just fun to see Ryan and Hugh absolutely have fun on screen, and if Hugh can look this yoked at 55, I will not be complaining if he's playing Wolverine at 90. The mid-credit scene is some of the most wholesome content you will see from a Marvel movie in years. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about Deadpool and Wolverine. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.